So, 6 months ago, I bought this thing. It's the 2021 Polygon 6Q T8. It's got 140 millimeters of travel out front and 135 millimeters of travel out back. When I bought this, I thought this would be the only bike I need. So, you can imagine my surprise when, about 2 weeks ago, I ended up with this guy right here. This is the Transition Sentinel V2. And I gotta say, I'm honestly really glad I bought it. It's got everything you need to race, fly down the trail, still have some fun, be able to climb right back up when you get to the bottom. The Sentinel has 150 millimeters of travel in the back and 160 millimeters in the front. It's got big 200 Mil Rotors. It's got 180 dropper post, and best of all, it's a full carbon frame. So this is the NX build of the Transition Sentinel, which is their lowest build spec that they do. And that's in no way a bad thing. Although it is their lowest spec, it is still incredibly capable, and I don't want to say a great deal because this is a pretty pricey bike, but everything they spec with it is solid and is ready to handle hard riding. I also did just notice that I put my tire on backwards, the front tire, when I went tubeless. So after this video, I'm probably gonna go and switch this around because you can't have that. But let's talk about the spec on the build and look at the different components that it comes with. And then we can jump into some trail footage and talk a little bit about why I bought this bike, why I bought a second bike, and what I intend to do with it. So the suspension of the NX build is handled by the Lilac Select up front with 160 mil of travel, and out back they have the RockShox Super Deluxe Select Plus. To stop you, you have the SRAM Code R brakes, which are attached to the race face Chester bar and Affect stem. And since Transition assumes that you're going to be getting rowdy on this bike, it comes equipped with 200 mil rotors both front and back. This is pretty nice because then you can go down a really steep hill, slam on your brakes the whole way down because you're scared, and you're not going to die. Of course, you can't forget about the 180 mil dropper post. And the heart of the whole thing, the SRAM NX Eagle drivetrain with stylo cranks. Man, overall, everything on here is pretty solid, and it's a good thing because at almost $5,000 after tax, this is not a cheap bike. So with that being said, let's throw up some ride footage and talk about why I actually bought this thing. Round two. We shall find out. The age-old question. Full flats kill ride? Answer promptly. So the Polygon 6Q T8 is definitely a capable bike. I don't think anyone can dispute that. And for most of the riding that I did, that bike was totally fine. I mean, in Indiana, there's really nothing crazy in terms of trails, and at first I didn't think I really needed any more bike than that. Oh yeah. But then one day I decided that I was going to start racing enduro, and since Indiana's flat, we really don't have that many enduro races around. To do that, I would need to travel to places like North Carolina, Michigan, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, all these different states around us that have more elevation and much gnarlier trails. And although the Polygon would be fine in those trails, I was looking for a more capable bike. Because in race situations, when you're coming down and you are worn out of breath, and barely seeing straight, you really do need to depend on your bike and rely on it to take away some of that stress on the trail. And that's where the Sentinel comes in. With the 150/160 suspension, the 63.6 degree head angle, and wider wheelbase, the Transition Sentinel looked like the perfect race machine for me. Now, some of you may be wondering, if I was looking for a long travel enduro bike, why didn't I just go for something like the Nuke Proof Giga or the Rocky Mountain Altitude? I personally think that the Transition Sentinel is the perfect amount of travel for me. It's not too big, but it can still handle everything and every little mistake through the gnarliest of trails. But the good thing is, if I do need that in the future, I can always swap out the rear link with the Cascade Components link and get even more travel out of this bike.
Oh man, thanks for rebounding.
And couple that with Transition's new lifetime warranty on their frames, I really have a bike that I feel like I can grow with and I won't be getting rid of anytime soon.
Which is fine. It's a longer travel bike. Shouldn't be that bad.
Overall, I'm really happy with my purchase. Did I really need this? Maybe not, but at the end of the day, biking is something that I really enjoy doing, and it's pretty much my only hobby at this point. So I'm okay with spending the money on the bike of my dreams, and that's really what this is. Everything about this bike I love. I just love looking at it. For the first week that I had it, just kept it in my room across from my bed so I could wake up and look at it. And you know what they say, can't take your money with you when you die. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you in the next one.
Not that I'm capable of that, but it just wants to be thrown around. Whew. Oh. Man, but this bike just feels so good. Sorry for my sniffles, I always do that. I don't really know why. Try not to. Try to clear this. Oh, frick. That was heavy there. That's what that suspension's for. 160 soaks up pretty nicely.